All right, I hope I don't run out of room on my phone to do another video here. But I was prompted to make one more video this morning, and that is in response to these Hebrew brothers that are doing away with the New Testament and with Yahushua and believing very differently. And my heart just goes out to you, and I would like you to listen to this message in love. This is not just to debate you or to prove my point or anything, because, you know, I've had to be persuaded my own self, and I still sometimes have to deal with this and be persuaded. So we have to really look at these things and make sure we really seeing what's there. So in one of your posts, your comments, it said, you know, prove that somebody had commented that we cannot come to the Father except by the Son, by Yahushua. And you, this ministry that I'm speaking of, you know who you are. You said, prove it from the Torah. 1, 2, 3, go. So this is in response to that message. Okay. So first of all, Yahushua said he would do a strange act. Okay. That he would do a strange act, okay? So you might consider it strange, for one. He talks about a stone of stumbling, a rock of offense, right? The cornerstone and these things. But check this out. So when Abraham was called by the Father to go sacrifice his son Yitzhak, okay? Many people do not know the context of why the Most High even asked him to do that, right? We say, well, it's because it's a shadow picture of Messiah. Okay, and I'm going to say that it is, but there's way more to it than that. So we had a male child. We've got more than one, but we had a male child who a couple years ago, he's going to be 3 this coming April. And we had, I can't remember what it's called, but we had a person who was trained in circumcision come and circumcise him on the 8th day. And he actually brought a lesson, and it's his ministry, and it was so beautiful. And what he opened our understanding up to was why the Most High even asked Abraham to do something like this, because it's just not just some random crazy thing, right? The pagan worship that Abraham was surrounded by, that his family was a part of, there was, you know, this doctrine that I think it was with Molech or whatever, that if you didn't want to sacrifice your firstborn son, because that's what he required. This demon god, the devil, was requiring these pagans that were submitting to him, and they were using this fear-mongering over the people like they do, you know, but they were required to, you know, they were taught that they need to sacrifice, and they believed their firstborn son to this devil, you know, or maybe it was all of their sons. But if they didn't want to give up their son, they had another option. They could just offer the foreskin, right? And so we see that too in the with the Catholic Church and what they do. And so this was a pagan practice, okay? And so for the Most High to tell Abraham to come and sacrifice your son to me, it's the ultimate test, because in the past, it's like, okay, you're willing potentially to do this for the false god. Are you willing to do it for me? Do you really trust me? You know, but then, you know, and I can't, you know, say that was like the entire motive was just trust. It was to prove him, but he's also teaching us something if we know the context of the pagan practices, because he said, I will provide myself. The angel came and said, wait, Abraham, now I know you trust me, right? But he said, I will provide myself a sacrifice. So you could take that literally as he's going to provide himself as a sacrifice. But more than that is, instead of the Most High Yah requiring his people to sacrifice their firstborn son, he does not receive that type of human sacrifice. He does not want that, and never did it come into his mind. So rather than us giving up our sons, no, he is not that way. No, he will give up his. He will come down. And that's why we know Yahushua's Yahuah, because he's not going to kill his innocent son either, but he will come down himself and do this thing. So This is why the circumcision. This is why, to show us that he's not like these other so-called mighty ones that are really just a bunch of demons, Molech and these blood-loving ones. He's not blood-loving, okay? And he doesn't accept human sacrifice. And Yahushua was not just human, and it wasn't just a sacrifice, okay? But he prepared for himself a sacrifice. He prepared himself to be a sacrifice. He was willing to lay down his life. And nowhere ever would he have asked us to sacrifice our children. So it's very much the contrary and standing against these pagan practices like he has done many times. Just like when they came out of Egypt, all of those plagues were in direct opposition and making these plagues were against the mighty ones of Egypt. It was to make a statement against their false idols. And this is also what that is. So he's not requiring human sacrifice. He came down and gave himself an offering, okay? And that's the love that he gave, rather than what these demons would have you to do, to sacrifice your children, right? So I don't know if you knew that, but I hope that helps you, and I pray that y'all will really come around, because there's no atonement for your sin just because you turn back to him. So there still has to be something that removes the sin, because he's holy, and we've already missed the mark. So we have to have atonement. We have to have blood atonement. And there's many things. He said that it's his glory to conceal a matter. And that Yahushua has, no one has ever seen the Father, but Yahushua has revealed him to us. So when you see Yahushua, when you see him walking in the garden with Abraham, like he said before Abraham was, I am. He's the great I am. And it maybe seems strange that he would come down and do this, but what greater love, right? And if you can't believe in that type of great love, that's the heart of the issue, is that we're not believing that he's good enough to do that for us, and we're having like pride and bitterness and stumbling, right? We're having a stumbling. He said, this is the stone that the builders rejected. This is the stumbling stone and the rock of offense, right? He's the sword that divides between joint and marrow, and that convicts. And